Good evening, I'm Jeff Lyons. It is Friday night, May the 2nd here, time for the First Alert Weather Show at 9. We are now on YouTube and of course streaming on Facebook and the app, and I forgot to push the table down here so stuff wouldn't be in the way. We have all kinds of weather to talk about here this evening. I am watching your comments on the 14 News Facebook page and also on the YouTube page. So 14 News YouTube channel is the other one that you can watch. All right, let's get right into it here. We've had just one of those days where it seems like it wouldn't stop raining or doing something out there, and we're going to have more of the same. This was like dress rehearsal for the weekend. We have additional rain on the way. Scattered storms, not so much. We might hear a couple rumbles of thunder overnight, but generally dreary this weekend with cloudy skies and then a gradual warming trend next week. Here's a look across the tri-state now, and we have bands of rain moving through. Very light rain, but just enough to, if you're out, say at Shriners Fest downtown or different events around the area, you'll want an umbrella if you're going to get out there, because it'll be just enough rain to get you wet and mad. The bigger picture shows several bands of rain coming in, and that kind of plays into our weather story. We have a cutoff low that is going to continue to spin to the north. That's going to give us several different things to talk about here tonight. The first of which, of course, will be a continued chance for rain and a little thunder on Saturday and again on Sunday as things start to move east. And while you're going to see some times on here in rain, you can't really pin anything to it because a lot of this, there will be some uncertainty with exactly where and when the rain will develop. It does look like we get a little clear window here in Louisville for the Derby tomorrow, but more rain then kind of churning around. And if you look carefully, you can see that spin. The upper level low will continue to spin and direct that rain back into the tri-state. The air mass is cool above us and very moist here at the surface, and the combination there will just kind of keep that persistent rain going. Much cooler tonight than it was last night. We have low to mid 60s across the Midwest. Here in the tri-state, temps again are falling into the lower 60s and upper 50s. Looks like the weather observation is missing there at Evansville Regional again. It was working earlier today. 59 now in Mount Carmel, 57 Fairfield, lower 60s across western Kentucky. And for the almanac, we did hit 74 today. That's the normal high for this time of the year, and only got down to about 61. Now it is going to get cooler as we move into the weekend. Today's high is 74. If we average those out, and we had 1/100 of an inch of rain, so not really much at Evansville Regional. Our average temperature just with the first day of the month in there, 10 degrees above normal. Now obviously that won't hold. It'll cool off, especially this weekend. For tomorrow, temps in the low 60s during the afternoon with scattered showers and maybe a thunderstorm or two. And you can see the unsettled weather extends all the way back into the about I-35 corridor here, so out around Kansas City and Omaha. And as this low, upper level low, continues to spin, it'll just keep bringing in moisture from the south and instability, or just enough of it, and cool air aloft to keep us cloudy and rainy. And this just goes on and on. You see it continuing to cycle there all the way through the early part of next week. Therefore, our temperature is much cooler too, only up to about 66 tomorrow, 59 Sunday. We do start to perk back up next week as the clouds finally break, but it will take a while to do that. And the GFS is somewhat optimistic in showing us some sunshine on Tuesday. However, by Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, we have more rain chances moving back in from the west and from the south. Total rainfall ranging around an inch over the next 5 days there. On the European model, also depicting that cutoff low just spinning away, but actually giving us a little more sunshine Tuesday and Wednesday before the clouds and rain return, and it's keeping us dry then for the end of next week. So I think the European definitely had highlighted the cutoff low several days before the GFS. So I think I'm going to go with the European on this one and hope we clear out there for the end of the week. No big swings in the pressure. 55 degrees for tonight with scattered rain. And then tomorrow the high temp climbs to 66, again some scattered rain at times. There will be sun too. It'll just be one of those days where you'll think, oh, it's done raining. And then like 20 minutes later it'll be raining. So just bear that in mind if you're trying to get out and do things. The, whoops, I kind of zipped past that. 7-day forecast has us dry Tuesday, low to mid 70s then through much of next week. And about a 30% chance of rain there on Wednesday and Thursday. Temperature outlook then, we start going the other direction, cooler than normal there through the 12th of May and drier than normal too after we get through this kind of damp weekend. Oh, we have a repeat pet pick tonight, Stephanie Stallings, and we still don't know the doggie's name. Maybe we'll find that out tonight. Somebody can clue me in. All right, let's see how we're doing over here on our different platforms. So I have the usual group here on Facebook. Jeff Miller wants to talk about cold air funnels. We are going to do that. You read my mind, so we will get to that in Science Corner here in just a couple minutes. Cerie Sigler, hello from Henderson. How's it looking for Dixon? Having a fishing trip planned. Well, you know, same thing in Dixon. It's going to be cloudy with some scattered rain. I'm assuming you're fishing in Dixon. So, yeah, but you know, sometimes the fish really like this kind of weather. It makes them a little more active. So we'll hope that the fish like it, even if you probably don't. All right, and let me look here on the YouTube feed. I thought I had it here. For some reason, it kicked over to something else. Let me, I'm just checking here. We're still, we have a new system here where we can set the stream up from the stream room to go on our different platforms, and I just want to make sure. There it is. Okay, I see Stephanie Stallings' dog. I see a few folks in there too. Hello from Evan Grant. The next event after the weekend, Jake Keck wants to know. Looks like we will probably have some drier weather coming into next week. That'll be an event and a little bit more pleasant, mid-70s out there. Okay, I think I got questions answered from both platforms. Let's go to Science Corner tonight. And I mentioned earlier about this cutoff low business, and the best way to see it, I just put the forecast model on an endless loop here. And now you can see it very clearly. There's basically low pressure right over about Jasper. And it just doesn't move. Now this is an upper level low, meaning that the air aloft is very cold. And we also have this circulation going on, which would add a certain amount of shear to our environment. And another way to think of that is that with a cutoff low, we would have persistent clouds, unsettled weather, rain, and so forth, and a little more twist or shear by virtue of that continuous spin in there, kind of like when a tropical system moves through. And sometimes that can spawn cold air funnels, and when we get these, they can be pretty alarming. You know, you look out and you say, well, there's a tornado. Where's Jeff Lyons? And the fact of the matter is, most cold air funnels are harmless. Now, they do spin just like a tornado. They look like a tornado, but the mechanism by which they form is a little different. Typically, in a tornado situation, we have a very strong updraft feeding into cold air in the cumulonimbus cloud and a lot of wind shear. And eventually that spin, you know, gets consolidated into the wall cloud, and then down it comes as a tornado. With a cold air funnel, they often will have kind of a rope-like appearance, and the updraft from, you know, these rain showers or storms will stretch out some of that spin that I was talking about there. We call it vorticity. And because of that, the sinking cold air and some rain come down, and they make the cold air funnel. And so that's why we see them. They form, but usually don't make it to the ground. Sometimes they just kind of look like fingers, you know, hanging down from the clouds. And they rarely cause any damage or problems like a real tornado would, because they're very weak to begin with. But impressive if the lighting is right and if you happen to see some, and you might this weekend. So we thank our friends at the National Weather Service for the heads up on that possibility this weekend. Hopefully, if we do see any cold air funnels, you will be forewarned and what is that? Forearmed and forewarned. You'll know what you're looking at, in other words. All right, let me come back over here and see if we have any other questions. Do cold air funnels get detected on velocity on radar? Excellent question. That's from Evan Grant on YouTube. No, usually not, because the wind speeds oftentimes are well below the threshold where you would see them on the radar. I suppose if you had like the Doppler on wheels, or one of these research radars and can just train it in on a cold air funnel, you might have better results. And typically the scale of them is much smaller than like a tornado. And so because of the size, it would be really hard for it to be detected. So short answer is no. Typically, these are seen by spotters, reported back to the Weather Service, and then they'll put out a statement, usually on something like that. Weather with Sim wants to know if there are any concerns for severe weather tomorrow. No, not really. We could hear some thunder and get a little rain out there, but I don't think so. It's going to be cool for one thing, low 60s. The dew point's going to pull back into the 50s, so we won't have that aspect. Not much energy available for storms out there. Okay, and we will go back over to the Facebook folks here. It's like having two phones up to my head here. Ali Shanks have a baseball game on Sunday at 1. Looking like rain or too far out to tell. Well, I don't know where your baseball game is, but I would say, there's a chance you're going to have at least some showers or a damp period during the game at some point. Oh, we have a soccer tourney at Bowling Green. What will it be like this weekend? Lee McCorkle. Probably some scattered showers down there too. Let's see. Would a cold air funnel be tornado warned? No, they would. Generally, the Weather Service would issue a special weather statement for that. Okay. So hopefully we got everybody covered. Laura Gray's watching us from Dawson Springs. Glad to have you in there tonight. Jeanette Rice wants to know how we determine percentage when forecasting rain. Well, we get, obviously from the models that we look at, we do get a percentage. What that percentage means is, given these conditions, how often would you get rain? And so the percentages for this weekend are around 60-70%. So pretty good chance you'll see rain with those numbers. Obviously lower percent, less of a chance. However, you can get a lot of rain on a 20% day, and you can get no rain on an 80% day. So it is kind of counterintuitive. But for tomorrow, the likelihood of some scattered rain is actually pretty good. And let's see. Where would be the best place to see cold air funnels? Well, it's not like you can go and hunt them down. First off, my experience with them has been typically during the late afternoon or when the sun is lower in the sky. If the sun manages to get out, you would have the right lighting in order to be able to really see them against the backdrop. We had an episode, it's been a few years back now, where we had just dozens of them. As you looked out, like the sky just looked like it was like tear stained. There were all these scud clouds. Scud is different from a cold air funnel, but then within the scud there were some circulations in there. It was very strange. So we'll just have to wait and see how it all plays out, as we always do in life, right? All right, that will be enough here for Friday night. Michael Fecka will have you covered this weekend. Of course, I'll be back on Monday, and I'll have an update on 14 News at 10. In the meantime, we appreciate you watching here. Tell all your friends we're on YouTube now as well, on the 14 News YouTube channel. You can subscribe to it, and that way you'll see our feed when it comes up. Please stay safe, have a great weekend, and we'll see you next time.